So let's solve a non-monic quadratic using completing the square. Non-monic means that the coefficient in front of the x squared is not 1. So in this example, we have 2x squared plus 5x minus 2 equals 0. For non-monic quadratics, you need to first factorize out that coefficient of x squared. So in this case, let's take out the 2. We have 2 outside of x squared plus 5 over 2x minus 1 equals 0. Now, because the right-hand side is equal to 0, we can divide both sides by 2 to get rid of the 2 on the left-hand side. So we're left with x squared plus 5 on 2x minus 1 equals 0, because 0 divided by 2 is 0. Now that becomes a monic quadratic, so we can just do what we did last time. So copy and paste the x parts. You have to add on whatever number is in front of the x, so that's 5 over 2. You need to halve it, so you need to divide it by 2, and you need to square that whole thing. Whatever you add on, you have to take away. So you take away exactly the same thing, which is 5 over 2, all over 2, because you're dividing by 2, all squared in brackets. The tail end, copy and paste it down, so it's minus 1 equals 0. Next, again, completing the square magic happens in the first 3 terms. So that becomes bracket, bracket, all squared, a perfect square. Grab down an x. Whatever goes inside the bracket is whatever's inside the squared part. So that's 5 on 2, the halved, divided by 2. So that gives us 5 over 4. So positive 5 over 4. And then we can simplify the fractions in the tail end. So we're taking away 5 over 4 all squared minus 1 equals 0. X plus 5 over 4 squared minus 25 over 16 minus 1 equals 0. Again, to subtract fractions, you need a common denominator. So let's make that happen. So that's minus 25 over 16 minus 16 over 16 equals 0. So x plus 5 on 4 squared minus 25 minus 16 gives me minus 41 over 16 equals 0. Rearrange the fraction. So we get x plus 5 on 4 all squared equals 41 over 16. Opposite of squaring is square rooting. And don't forget the plus minus. 41 over 16. So that's x plus 5 on 4 equals plus or minus. You can simplify the surds into square root of 41 over 4, and then we can rearrange the fraction on the right hand side, which gives us plus minus square root of 41 all over 4, subtract 5 over 4. We can make it nice and pretty because our fractions on the right hand side have the same denominator, so that gives us minus 5 plus or minus square root of 41, all of that divided by 4 as our solution to that quadratic equation.